Today I'll be explaining why this could be the future American map for the election. So it's mostly similar, and we explain why some states are gonna be safer in the future and why some states are gonna be safer in the future. So, and why some states are not considered safe red, like Texas, Arizona, Nevada, and why some states like New Hampshire and Maine are not considered safe blue, even though they almost always vote blue. We'll be starting with here. These states, I think, are easily gonna stay Democrat states. Oregon, I think, has the most chance of changing to a toss-up state of these three states, as it almost became within 10 in 2016. But a lot of people from California, mostly the liberals, are moving to Oregon. Oregon is basically like it's basically very similar to a state like Minnesota and Washington and California. Nevada, well, I think Nevada is going to be one of those states will be leaning Republican, but sometimes if the Democrats want a good candidate, it might flip Democrat. Nevada has a very large Hispanic population. The Hispanics are trending Republican. Again, it also has a very large white working class population as well. I think that this state will become a competitive state. It won't become a safe state probably into the 2030s. I think in the 2030s, Nevada will be a safe red state in the 2030s. But in 2020, could be a safe. No, I think Nevada could be a safe red state in the 2030s, but Nevada is still unproven. Same thing with Arizona. Kerry Lake could make Arizona a Republican state again. But I think Arizona will be one of the two states that determines the election, kind of like Ohio and Florida used to be. Ohio and Florida used to be the two states that determined the election, but now I think it'll be Arizona and one other state. We're gonna make Nevada and Arizona. These states, I don't think they'll ever be. Okay, Utah, Mormons mostly vote Republican. Again. And Idaho, liberals are moving there, but there's also a lot of conservatives and Mormons living there. And Mormons have a really high birth rate. I think the Mormon population in Idaho will be the thing that keeps the state red, probably for the foreseeable future. Montana is a bit more iffy. Montana is a state that is trending towards the Democrats. But I think in the next 10 years, Montana will still manage to stay a safe Republican. It might get within 10, though, if the Democrats want a good candidate in the presidential election, but Biden couldn't get Montana between 10, so yeah. Wyoming and the Dakotas, that's no question. These states always vote 30 points Republican, so yeah, no really talking about them. Same thing with Nebraska, but most of Nebraska besides the second. I think Nebraska second was just to say a swing district. I don't think it's become the safe Democrat district. I think it will stay a swing district. Now we'll be talking about Kansas and Oklahoma. I think Kansas, just like Montana, could become closer like this, but we're gonna keep them safe red as well. Well, they might become in the likely column, Kansas as well, but you have to really want a really good candidate to really win Montana and Kansas. So if Democrats want a really good candidate, they might win all of these states down here. But Biden didn't even win Kansas, so I don't think Democrats are going to really win Kansas for a while. Now we talk about Colorado. Colorado's culture has changed so much that I think it's becoming California 2.0. It's going to be that one weird state that always votes blue no matter who. And it's going to become like Minnesota for the next 20 or 30 years. Kind of like these four states up here, Idaho, Wyoming, North and South Dakota. Colorado's gonna vote like California, Washington, and maybe Minnesota. I think Minnesota is really a toss-up state, but I'm gonna put Minnesota as toss-up. So that's what Minnesota is really trending towards. But Colorado is a state that I think is trending very similar to these three states: Washington, Oregon, California, and it will basically be the blue equivalent of these five states up here. Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, North, South Dakota, And also, that's to extent Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Oklahoma, that's pretty obvious. They always vote Republican. They not a single county in 2020 voted for Joe Biden. Yep, not a single county. And even if Oklahoma City flips like 0.1% Democrat, the state will still be voting 30% Republican. Texas, I think, is gonna become the new Florida. Yet the Rio Grande Valley is trending Republican, but that's really only 2% of the state's electorate if it becomes safe Republican. What really matters is, of course, the cities: Dallas, Houston, and Austin. I think after the ban on a certain medical procedure, people might leave the state of Texas, but I think Texas will become like Florida. It will become that one state where basically both parties will try to campaign in and try to win. Texas, I think, will become a toss-up for the next 10 years. It might stay red, but again, Texas's future, I think, is uncertain at this point. It might just turn into Arizona. And also, I want to make sure the Democrats do have a path to victory. I don't want to make it where Republicans just control everything, because, yeah, it makes no sense. I think Texas is going to be that one state where they're going to be the ones deciding the election. Okay, these 4 states are pretty self-explanatory. Iowa is trending Republican. Missouri is basically a safe Republican state at this point. Arkansas, Louisiana, and yeah, the Deep South, except for Georgia, and North Carolina and Florida, which I'll explain separately. Yeah, they're all not going to change whatsoever. Okay, these states are not going to change. Even South Carolina. Okay, South Carolina over the past 20 years has voted basically the same. People are going to say, but South Carolina's going to become Democrat by 2040. I don't know, South Carolina's going to vote the same way it has been voting for the past 10 years. Yes, and then we have Florida. Okay, why do you have Florida? Safe red, but not Texas. Well, if you give Texas to Republicans, okay, Republicans would have to win one more state to win the election, and that would be pretty unfair. Okay, and Florida, and also I gave Georgia to the Democrats. I'll explain that one as well. Florida, I think, is gonna become a safe Republican state. Okay, it's gonna be the largest Republican state in the country. And it's going to be the Republican equivalent to New York, Illinois, and California. And it's all because of one man, Ron DeSantis. Florida actually trended right in 2020 despite all of its major cities still voting Democrat. Yeah, it's still trended right. And also Miami is becoming Republican. But it might be the first metro area besides Las Vegas to become Republican, because Las Vegas and Miami are trending Republican again. And Nevada, I think, is still gonna become a toss-up state, but next is Georgia. I think. Okay, let's just follow out the election map. If we didn't explain New Mexico, as we go on. But yeah, Ron DeSantis, I think, is gonna make the state continue to trend right. Well, yeah, that's why I'm leaving Texas and Nevada toss-ups, because they'll just, if you give them shape the Republican, you basically just, Republicans just get handed the presidency basically for the next 10 years. But yeah, Florida I think for the next couple of decades might be a safe way to say. You have a lot of people still moving, a lot of people who are sick of New York, Illinois, and a lot of these people who are moving to Florida are voting red. Okay, because they like the freedoms that Governor DeSantis. And Governor DeSantis is just enacting all these laws that, they even kept his congressional mapping after, it's still in litigation, but they finally said, okay, DeSantis, you can keep your map, be happy. Next is Georgia. Georgia is trying the opposite of Florida. It is one of the only 2 states in the South that will probably vote Democrat, besides Virginia. Yeah. And I think Georgia, Atlanta, it's going to become like Illinois. Well, Atlanta basically controls the state. Atlanta is growing so fast that it might become like Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. Well, basically, whoever wins Atlanta will win the state. North Carolina, again, the Democrat that's is going down just like in Florida. And I think Roy Cooper, his days are numbered as well. Well, West Virginia, yeah, and Kentucky, we don't have to explain anything about those. Those are not voting Democrat anytime soon. Maybe if Joe Manchin wins and he wins both states, but that's only if he wins. I think only Joe Manchin could win like states like in the South. Virginia, I think might trend Republican. I think it will still probably stay Democrat state, but I don't think that Democrats are guaranteed to win Virginia anymore. You if someone like Youngkin ones or DeSantis ones, they could probably easily win Virginia within a couple points. And Virginia and again, the governor of Virginia, Youngkin, might actually turn the state rightward a bit, which gets rid of the Democrats' hope to make having another safe blue state, like they were hoping for. It actually give Democrats and Republicans the same electoral votes. Now we have the Midwest, Illinois. I don't think that state. Yeah, sadly, I don't think Illinois is gonna become a competitive state anytime soon. It might get within 10 if you're on a really, really, really good candidate or Kanye West ones and steals the votes away from Illinois. Nor in Illinois. Okay, Indiana, I don't have to explain anything. Indiana, I don't think is gonna. Indiana, I don't think that's going away for Republicans anytime soon. That's obvious. Same thing of Ohio. Same thing with Iowa. I already explained Iowa. Yeah, if the video freezes again, I'll have to pause it and redo the whole map again. But Ohio, I think it's gonna be a state that will continue voting red and will continue become a safe red state by the end of this decade. Republicans will probably easily just win Ohio at the end. I think Wisconsin. I think it's set in stone at this point. Okay, Biden barely won Wisconsin. Okay, he barely won the state. No F word because YouTube will not allow that. But Wisconsin is a state that I think. Okay, if you look at the counties in Wisconsin, the rural counties are only voting like 10 points Republicans. Okay, imagine if they voted like Indiana and Missouri and Kentucky. Okay, which I think in the future they will, or Ohio. Okay, Ohio doesn't even vote like on par with Kentucky and Indiana yet. Okay, I think Ohio will. If Wisconsin starts voting like Indiana, which it probably will, well, Democrats just lost another state. Minnesota and Michigan, I think Minnesota probably could be a safe blue state. Minnesota never votes for Republicans, but you never know what the future would hold. In 2020, yes, the state traded westward, but a lot of states did. So not really gonna consider Minnesota a safe blue state. Same thing with Virginia. We're not considering Virginia. Michigan, I don't think it's gonna be safe red or safe blue. Kind of like Texas and kind of like Arizona. I think Michigan, it will probably lean red, but if Democrats were a really good candidate, they could actually win the state, basically. And now let's get to the elephant of the room, Pennsylvania. Okay, you know who's running for good. You know who won the governor's race. Okay, he's gonna turn. Okay, his name was Mastriano. He's gonna turn the state. Okay, he's gonna turn the state into Florida 2.0. He even said it himself that he's gonna turn Pennsylvania into Florida 2.0. And you know what DeSantis did to Florida? Okay, he turned Florida into basically just a safe Republican state. Okay, and it's a red wave year. Okay, so that means he's guaranteed to win because Biden only won Pennsylvania by 2 points. Okay, if it's an outpost national average, outpost 8, outpost 7, even outpost 6 national average, okay, Pennsylvania will flip in the governor's race. Okay, which means. And all we need is like a base governor. You know, if you have like a weak rhino governor, yeah, nothing's gonna change. It's gonna stay a swing state. Okay, if one of the weaker rhino candidates won, then yeah, Pennsylvania would be like this, okay, and we'll not be having this discussion, okay. Oh, it's positive. Yeah, if you had one of those weaker governors in power, okay, and also even then, Pennsylvania is still losing Democrat voters like as fastly as not as fastly as North Carolina and Florida is. Florida has a advantage in registered voters, and North Carolina, the Democrat advantage is slowly going down. Pennsylvania still has the highest advantage of the three, but it's still going down. I think it's going to continue going down over the next decade, which will make the Democrats really just panic, I think, when it comes to Pennsylvania, because that means that's another state that they lost. Which means the Democrats will gonna do everything in their power to try to make these four states down here. Which, of course, if they win all three of these states, it'll be 260. Four of these states, it'll be 269 in the electoral map. But Democrats are gonna panic if they lose Pennsylvania. New Jersey, yeah, they didn't even vote for the Republican guy, and that's, of course, that was in 2021. And also Delaware, Maryland, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont. You might have some liberal Republicans win these states every once in a while. Kind of like how you could have conservative Democrats win like governorships in Louisiana. But that's just, it's the same reason why you have Kansas having a Democrat governor, or Kentucky, or a Louisiana having a Democrat governor. Okay. Okay, it's not really, like, for example, Lee Zeldin might win the governorship for New York. But that's only because the governor in New York is not really well liked. And then we have New Hampshire and Maine. Okay, I think these are the only two like, I always sometimes put these meme videos like, oh, these four states down here are really trying to them Republican. They will all be toss-up states, okay? We're not talking about 2040. I think these four states are down here are going to be toss-ups in 2040. But this is throughout 2024, for 2028, 2032, and 2046. Okay. New Hampshire, I think it's going to become another state. Well, it's going to be a swing state, I think. I think it's going to be like, oh, Republicans win 2024, they win there. 2028, incumbent, they don't like incumbents, so yeah. And then 2024, and then, yeah, basically that's how New Hampshire vote. Maine is another state. Maine is like 95, 98, 97% white as well. Same with New Hampshire, and then, yeah, Maine, I think it's going to become less liberal. Maine second district, I think it's be safe. It has been safe since Trump. Okay. And those people point out these maps say, oh, but South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida will be Democrat. Like, you have this one guy point out this video that Republicans should be scared that Florida and North and South Carolina will be Democrat states in the future. No, and the most ridiculous one is Idaho being blue, okay? So you have these people put out these ridiculous, like Idaho being, he put out like a ridiculous prediction like Idaho being blue. Okay. Yeah, and I know I'll talk about New Mexico. Okay, New Mexico is a state that I think everybody wants me to talk about. Okay, New Mexico, okay, I think is gonna be another toss-up state. I don't think Democrats are gonna, okay, first of all, they know that people in New Mexico know how little Democrats care about oil. Okay, care about the energy sector of the economy. And New Mexico's economy is like mostly reliant on it, like Texas. Like Texas is less reliant on it, but New Mexico is like Pennsylvania. Okay, I think in 2040s, I can make the New Mexico will be safe red. Okay, the Hispanics are trending Republican, and let's not forget the energy sector. Okay, the energy sector is what's going to really screw over Democrats into losing yet another safe blue state, because, and yeah, let's draw a hypothetical 2024 map. So let's just say Republicans win every single state that I consider a swing state for the next 10 years. So hypothetically, if the Republicans win every single swing state in district, they would win with 347, with Democrats 191. Which wouldn't be surprising considering that Joe Biden has a very low approval rating, basically. And that wouldn't be too surprising if Joe Biden has a very low approval rating. And yeah, you're gonna be people saying that, that what about this state, or what about this state? Okay, if one state trends like a small percentage point, okay, well, Democrat, that doesn't mean the state's trending Democrat. Like, oh my God, North Dakota trending Democrat. No, it's not gonna become a Democrat state. North Dakota is not gonna become a Democrat state. Okay, Chicago trended Democrat in 2020. Okay, no, not Democrat. Chicago trended Republican in 2020. Doesn't mean Chicago's gonna be voting Republican in 2040. Okay, and most of these gray states I bet are either gonna be swing states or states that really I don't know really the future of. And this could be a real electoral map in the next coming decades. In 2028, this could be the electoral map. Okay, but yeah, what do you think are the swing states of the next coming decades? Do you think that certain states will become safe blue? Do you think certain states will become safe red? Red? Do you think some states will stay blue or stay red? Do you think that Texas will actually ever vote Democrat? Do you think that Do you think New York will become a Republican state in 2050? I think I can't really predict like 2040, 2050, 2060 because, you know, trends in politics, they change so fastly and they change so differently. Okay, you might have a 2040 map where it looks like this. Okay. Okay, because of how weirdly states trend and how, sometimes states, but ever since the birth of the internet, basically states have basically been set in stone. So you're not going to see a result like this or something like that. Okay, you're not going to see a result like this anymore. It's going to be very clearly probably among the lines of what states are red states and what states are blue states. And a couple swing states as well. So let's say a hypothetical Democrat win as well in 2040. I don't think, unless it's like a Great Depression or anything, there's gonna be like the massive. We're not going to have a Reagan like landslide for a while, okay, because of polarization. Okay, and we're not gonna see a Reagan like landslide. That's not really gonna be something that's gonna happen anytime soon. Okay, something like this might be the closest we get to a Reagan landslide. A map like this. That's gonna be the closest you get. Same thing with the Democrat version. We'll do a Democrat version as well. This would be the quote. This would be basically the Democrat version of a landslide. And yeah, that's basically about this video. Goodbye.